Hello, everybody. Having difficulties staying at my screen.
Sports. Playing from Suzette's iPad.
Mm.
Father, my grandmother, people at church, youth pastors, they would always tell us, love each other. All you have to see each other. Love each other.
High school experience. I mean, it was a wonderful time. High school was awesome. Football. He wasn't the best football player, but he was so smart. I mean, BJ could take a test and not open the book and ace the test.
You would just think that he was an older man with
How's everybody doing tonight?
In that way, so a lot of people had respect for him. He had all the friends, and I had friends because he was my brother. So like, yeah, let's be his little sister. Like, yeah, I know.
We knew we wanted to go off to college. We didn't want to go to the local universities around, and we knew we wanted to go to a historically black college and university.
BJ's family visited Hampton University in Virginia and decided it was just what they were looking for.
Hampton University was called the University by the Sea because there were yachts and there was a body of water there, and it was surrounded by a really nice, serene type of community. It seems like the environment that would be safe.
BJ
Hello, one person.
anchoring his social life in a crowd of young men who played or passionately followed the school's football program.
He could have played football at Hampton. He chose not to. He said, I think I'm going to represent players. He said, I'm gonna do sports entertainment law. He was pretty independent. He had a job on campus. He had a job off campus. And he mowed lawns on the weekend. And so he was just never asked for anything. I would just say, do you need something? Do you need anything? And he would be like, I got this.
But life on campus was not as peaceful as BJ's family had hoped. There were growing tensions between BJ's football crew and another campus clique, made up of students from New York City.
New Yorkers have this sense of ego about themselves. I mean, they're from New York City. They thought we had barrels of hay rolling around in our front yards, and we rode horses to school. And being from Texas, you had to really, you had to stand up. And I think BJ made it his business. I'm not a punk, and you're not going to treat me like I am.
In June 2005, BJ flew home to Houston to see his little sister Kelly graduate high school.
My high school graduation was really cool because it was like all of my close cousins were there, and like it was right there. Like we had to take a picture in front of the flag, and it was like right there. Like taking pictures of me.
Aww.
And like encouraging me.
Aww.
He was under the ropes, and he was getting the best pictures and making sure that he was being supportive and there for her. We took him to this rib joint that he loved so much, and then we took him to the airport to fly back to him.
BJ planned to spend the summer in Hampton, working and gearing up for his senior year. His close friend Ronnie Evans was doing the same.
Ronnie and BJ were best friends. Yeah, they grew up in church together. They were in Boy Scouts together. And they had a real brotherhood.
Mm.
In early July, Ronnie Evans found himself at the center of a standoff between the football crew and the New Yorkers.
Uh-oh.
There was a girl involved. Ronnie was
Always.
talking to the girl and then these other guys, and then that was the whole issue between that. And BJ came in big chested and, challenged these guys. And now they have some beef.
Mm.
I don't think that Ronnie told BJ to come fight his battle. Well, I think BJ just felt like that's what he had to do. Because that's just who he was. He protected everybody. Everybody.
Over the course of the next 2 weeks, the animosity between the two groups continued to grow. And it came to a head the night the groups encountered each other at an off-campus bar.
July 17th, 2005. Oh, gracious.
It might have been close to midnight. I got a phone call. It was one of his friends from here. And he said, Miss Bryant. And I said, what? I can tell someone was posted that BJ. And I said, what? Is he okay? Is he okay?
Your brother's in the hospital. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he was like, that man is fighting for his life. And that's all he said.
He said, he's been stabbed. And I said, well, where is he? Where is he? And he told me the hospital, and he gave me the number, and I called, and I spoke to the doctor. He said he's on the operating table right now, and I said, is he going to be all right? I said, do you believe in God? I said, do you believe in God? And he said, yeah. I said, I need you to pray.
If you've seen Jihad Ramadan, please call us. You can make a difference.
Bitch.
On July 17, 2005, police in Hampton, Virginia responded to a report of a stabbing at a bar near the campus of Hampton University. Outside, a young man was bleeding onto the sidewalk. The victim was B.J. Bryant, a rising senior at the university who was spending his summer in Hampton before the school year began.
It was very evident the establishment cleared in a hurry. There were still drinks and some personal belongings about. Some of the things were knocked over.
Medics rushed BJ to the hospital. There was no shortage of eyewitnesses. Patrons and employees gave police a blow-by-blow account of what had happened. The bar fight, the witnesses said, was a beef that was lingering from 2 weeks earlier, when Ronnie Evans had gotten into a scrap with the New Yorkers, and BJ had defended him.
Bryant wants somebody in there and said, hey, watch my back. There's a lot of New York here. At some point, Bryant realized that they were coming at him or it was going to become physical. Bryant turned to one of his buddies and said, "This is about to happen." And it starts like this is going to be a fist fight.
And then one of the New Yorkers pulled a knife.
Bitch ass.
Brian's friends ran to Brian's like, "Am I okay? Am I okay?" And they just see blood. Nobody could even figure where the blood came from.
Mm, mm, mm.
The knife-wielding attacker disappeared into the night, but several witnesses told police exactly who he was.
The suspect was identified as Jihad Amir Ramadan.
Ramadan was only 18 years old, a rising sophomore at Hampton University.
Friends of Jihad all say it was a fight and he pulled out a knife and we don't know why. And they kept saying, "Why did you do that?" I don't know. Nobody knows. He took a knife to a fist fight. And the staff will say they had no idea what was going on. The building was like it was on fire. Everybody just ran. Comes out onto the street. The different groups are yelling at each other. New York guys were trying to find the other New York guys. And people were jumping in their own cars. So that's chaos.
In Texas, BJ's family waited in agony for the outcome of his surgery.
Dr. Bob and somehow I just knew because it was just so, and he said we couldn't stop the bleeding. And I said, no. And I just screamed and fell to my knees.
I couldn't believe it. My world changed. It was devastating. I didn't sleep at all that night. I'll never forget it.
Everybody came to my grandmother's house. They were all praying together and just talking to us and consoling us and praying and everybody sat in a big circle. Just started crying.
The next morning at Hampton University, police found that dozens of students were ready to do the right thing. BJ was well loved and many were eager to help.
A couple phone calls to the school, and we had these kids knocking on the door asking. We didn't drag them or beg them, threaten them. We said, "Hey, this is what Jihad was wearing, this is how Jihad behaves, this is Jihad's car." I would call a bunch of these kids, plugging their phones in the wall, laying on the floor and say, "I'll be later." And they did. They just laid there. They helped with the information, names. It's not the norm.
The students reported that Jihad Ramadan had left the Hampton campus within hours of the stabbing. With him was David Arthur, the New Yorker who had clashed with Ronnie Evans on July 2nd, and whose presence had sparked the fight at the bar. The boys were running home to New York. That meant they had crossed state lines. Hampton police called the feds.
He has a mother, father, we're living together in New Rochelle. The best place to find Jihad is his mom and dad's house. We showed up, it was all the police, state police, U.S. Marshals, and city police. We traveled kind of heavy. They did allow us in the house. Just long enough to tell us that they didn't want us in the house and throw us out.
Early on, people came forward, both here in Hampton and in New York. It was brought to our attention pretty early on that Jihad's father was known to be an imam at a mosque in New York, and that there was a lot of information that people were providing to us, saying that they had heard that the father was using his ties within the Muslim community to hide Jihad somewhere that would be hard for law enforcement to find him.
But Ramadan's parents denied knowing anything about his whereabouts.
Sure.
8 days
Oh.
after the murder, BJ's parents and friends gathered at their church for his funeral.
That's a lot of people.
July 25th. Someone. It was beautiful. People were everywhere. I've never seen that many people at the church ever.
It's still the largest service that we've ever had at our church.
I wouldn't expect anything else, honestly. You know, because he never did anything wrong to anybody. Like all he ever did was like stand up for his friends. He's always good to his friends.
In October 2005, 3 months after the murder, David Eichel appeared in Hampton accompanied by his mother and turned himself in.
David Eichel is the individual who was involved in the initial fist fight with Byron, which kind of stemmed from the bad blood that had kind of brewed over from weeks prior.
Eichel gave police an account of his escape to New York with Ramadan.
When they get from the New York area, they were supposed to meet Jihad's father. David told us that when Jihad got out of the car and he pulled off, that's the last he saw Jihad. He still couldn't even understand why Jihad's dad cried like that.
David's family wanted him to do the right thing. They had tried to get Jihad's father to turn Jihad in with David, said they need to get lawyers and turn their sons in together. Jihad's family refused, said their son had done nothing wrong.
The charges against Eichel were dropped, while the hunt for Ramadan continued to hit roadblocks.
We began doing search warrants on the phone records, trying to track Jihad, trying to see if any contact between the parents and any other known numbers might be coming back to Jihad, any of his friends. We're doing that. U.S. Marshals, of course, still doing surveillance for us and running record checks up there, and it just, like, Jihad just disappeared.
We're trying to, uphold the laws, get someone who's charged with taking a life. And everyone we're getting out speaking with, you would think that we're the bad guys showing up. People weren't talking to the marshals, they weren't talking to any of the investigators that were getting out. They're trying at all costs to be as uncooperative as possible.
The cops were convinced that the path to Ramadan's hiding place started at his family's front door. And in 2007, 2 years after the murder, they knocked on that door yet again.
We're in the Ramadan house. There was a card sitting on a table. It was sitting there. It's folded open, just like you and I put birthday cards on the table. And it said, Happy Father's Day. And it was signed your son. Mom and Dad Ramadan have one son. His name's Jihad. That card said to me, I've seen my son is communicating with you. So we went to the DA's office. We wrote up this search warrant. Today's the day. We're going to go find him.
Please, if you've seen Jihad Ramadan, make that call. On every episode of In Pursuit, we're going to tell you about some missing children that we need your help to find and bring home to their families. Here's the first case. Kayla Unbehan's father, Ryan, had full custody, but her mother, Heather, was allowed frequent visits. Around July 4th, 2017, Heather allegedly took Kayla from South Elgin, Illinois, and did not return. Officials believe they may be in Athens, Georgia. Kayla is 11 years old. If you have seen Kayla or have any information as to her whereabouts, please call us. For 2 years, Jihad Ramadan, the chief suspect in the murder of college senior B.J. Bryant, had eluded police. Then in 2007, the cops spotted a Father's Day card in the home of the fugitive's parents. It looked like it had come from their son, and it felt like the first break in the case.
I was so excited. So we ran down to the district attorney's office. We sat looking for hours and we wrote a search warrant. I wanted to go in that house and take everything. The items sought on the search warrant, and anything to be used for a means of communication. That's walkie-talkies, paper pens, phones, computers, laptops.
However, the warrant was not approved by a New York judge.
But unfortunately, they wouldn't sign the warrant. We had to walk away with everything else.
Unfortunately, every lead since has led to a dead end.
We're never going to give up looking for Jihad Ramadan. It don't matter if I'm retired, Pat Malcolm retires, or the next person that comes after us to try and search for him. We're not going to give up looking for him.
He's still living his life wherever it is, whereas Byron's life was taken from him that day. He was 20 years old, had a bright future ahead of him, and his family has gone through hell the last 13 years, and knowing that the individual charged with murdering their son, their brother, their loved one, their friend, has never been held accountable.
The people protecting him are cowards. Because BJ wasn't a coward at all. Yeah, the world lost a gem.
He looked like you should just be over it. They count the years for you. They count them for you. And say, oh, it's just an excuse. You should be over it. But, no.
Just thinking about jihad. What's your legacy? And I think he felt like he could do whatever he wanted to do, and it was okay. And even murder. And he's been gone all this time. He knows what he did. He was 18 years old. Where is your child? Why aren't you looking for him? I think if more people would just close their eyes and say, that was my son, what would I do? Or what would I want somebody else? Do people know where he is? Yes, they do.
Now, at the time of his flight, Jihad Ramadan had no prior arrests, no criminal record, and no fingerprints on file, making it really difficult for law enforcement to track him down. Now, he has ties to the Atlanta area as well as the Caribbean, and he may be wearing his hair in dreadlocks. So if you see him, don't approach him, make that call, and I guarantee you can remain anonymous. Let's help bring some justice to BJ and the Bryant family. Now it's time for one of the most powerful weapons in our arsenal, what I like to call 15 seconds of shame. Andrea Hemming confessed to poisoning her husband over a period of 6 months in 2015. She faces an attempted murder charge. Jose Ruben Salinas Rangel is wanted by the FBI for allegedly raping a 12-year-old girl in Gallatin, Tennessee on September 21st, 2014.
Fucking pervert.
If you've seen either of these suspects, please call us.
What day was he last seen?
Now, our next case touches me very personally. After my 6-year-old son Adam was murdered, it took us 27 painful years to finally get answers about who killed him. That's why I feel so deeply for the family of Sid Wells, a bright young man shot to death in 1983. Since then, Sid's family has been searching for justice, patiently enduring the twists and turns of a 3-decade investigation. My son Callahan goes to Boulder, Colorado, to take a closer look at one family's courageous journey, the ultimate cold case, the search for Thane Smythe.
I think after this, I'm gonna find something fun to watch.
In 1981. I was born 4 years later, so I grew up in a family racked by the anguish of an unsolved crime. That's why I have so much sympathy for the family of Sid Wells. It's been over 30 years since Sid died. I'm hoping we can help to finally find his killer and bring his loved one's nightmare to an end. My investigation begins here at the home of Sid's brother, Rob Wells.
Actually, I'm gonna change it now. Let me see what's on. Do I have Hulu downloaded? I can see what's out. What else on Discovery Plus?
Sid right here?
Yeah.
I love cooking shows. Do I want to watch Tia? Mm-hmm. 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 Although I want to watch Delicious Miss Brown. That's my girl right there. And she still come on after 10 seasons. Or do I want to watch The Amazing Race? That's my show. That's on Hulu. But I can binge watch when the black girl won. Or I want to watch that with my mom. That would be nice to watch with her. Smothered. Mothered. Okay, let me download Hulu. Oh, Lord, I don't know. I might want to watch 90 Day Fiancé because they are a trip. And then it's a trip. Seems like most of them. Oh, Lord. 90 Day Fiancé, what now? Well, that depends on if they have, let me see when it's, nah, that's okay. It looks boring. It don't look boring. I just don't feel like watching it right now. What? The Hunt. Baby, you have a show. I don't understand this. So now you got a different show on a different network called The Hunt with John Walsh. I just watched you. It's supposed to song on investigation of future. Murder and murder. Season 1. Let me see. Okay, see. What the? I don't know. I love me some Tia now. I might watch her, or do I want to watch? Let's see. Oh, God. Look what we got here. See. I could watch some fun. No, because then I might get me banned. I don't want to get banned. Where's this at? Is this home? One person in here is still not saying nothing. Oh, they have updated episodes? That's cool. I thought only Hulu did that. Only thing is I can't afford non-stop commercials. I don't know. I might watch it. That's a trip though. That 90 Day Fiancé 90 Day Journey. Let me see. Let's see. Download Patukadoots. Let me see. I might have already have it downloaded. I don't think so though. No.